Welcome back to another edition of Dante's Discussion Answers. That's right, where we take your answers and we put them in this video for everyone to see. Of course, it's about Dark Souls 2. Nothing too spectacular except for the fact that Dark Souls 3 is coming around very soon and it's exciting. But we're still on Dark Souls 2, so what do we got? What do we have? Anyways, the question here for Dark Souls 2, like I said before, was what are the best weapons to PowerStance? Of course, I put this on Effects for Life and the video on YouTube for everyone to see and to comment, and let's see what people said. Now, this is one of those interesting questions where it really, it's super opinion based, right? Like, I don't think there is a best combo PowerStance. I don't think anybody can pick just one that's like it's just better than every others. I don't think so. That's what I think about this. But there are a lot of cool combos out there. Let's see what people think. First, we go to YouTube and we go, Nathorn. Nathorn says, "No, this song again. Arg. What's your problem with the song, Nathorn?" That's what I'm curious about. Let's just take a listen real quick, just for you, buddy. That's some blues for you right there. Would you rather have a more ambient background? You know what? For you, Nathorn, we'll just switch it to a little bit more ambient. Anyway, says, but to answer your question, right hand sun sword, left hand washing bowl. The speed and range, also bare fist. No need to explain that. And I probably shouldn't even have to say this, but right hand ice rapier and left hand sun sword. Maybe dual chaos blades. I personally don't power stance, even though I use almost every time weapon in both hands. Stamina cost is pretty damn high, and the damage isn't that great when you power stance. Also, you get more poise damage if you simply two-hand a weapon. That is definitely true. This question was more specific towards power stance in general. I understand that a lot of people use two different weapons. You know, a lot of people can use a great hammer, right hand, and a rapier or a quicker weapon in left hand. And you can't power stance. The whole point was power stance, and because there's interesting combos, but there's also a lot of bad combos. And like you said, just about every power stance, except for there's one exception, but every power stance awful with the stamina usage per damage output. That's what I think. Buffed up cast blades, that might be the only difference there. But yeah, there's a lot of bad ones out there. No exceptions to cast blades though. Cast blades, obviously, it's going to do some damage. It's going to do damage to yourself. I mean, you got to think 100 damage to yourself, right? 50-50 each. But you're probably doing like 1,000 damage each swipe, and generally you're probably going to get 2 swipes on somebody. And if you trade, you're probably going to win the trade. So I can definitely see why that's good. But again, if you see somebody with cast blades, especially double and especially buffed up, you're going to play a little bit more weary and play not as close or not as crazy as you might normally. So that's why I think certain weapons people think are more difficult than others. As far as sun sword, ice rapier, obviously that's a good combo, but you say you never power stance it, so I don't think that combo is particularly great power stanced, only because you're lacking the pokey with the rapier. So, it all depends on what hand you put it in and how you use it. But anyways, next up we go to Effects for Life. We go to Scarecrow 13, says, Majestic Greatsword in left hand, Dragon Leg in the right, or Throne Defender, Throne Watcher swords. I like this. A lot of people love the Majestic Greatsword as an offhand weapon, but this is supposed to be for power stancing specifically. So I actually don't think if you put it in your left hand, you can't, if you have a power stance, you can't do the spin attack, right? Because it's the LB and LR, or LT. Those are the ones that do the special, whatever attack, or the swipey attacks, whatever, with both weapons. So I actually don't think this combo is that great. I think there are better weapons there. Drang Lake in the right, though, however, is interesting because that has some... oh, actually, it's Drake Blood. Never mind. Drang Lake's not the best. Does that do... That might do. I forgot if that does magic or not. But I don't think that combo is that great, actually. I think there's much better combos out there for power stancing specifically. A Jerry 0007. I almost never power stance now, pairing dagger, but I've seen people use dual straight swords and dual katanas. Both of these seem pretty powerful, and the L2 attack does tons of damage while also serving as an effective mix-up attack. Dual daggers, Cestus, Kestis, however you say it, Bone Fist, or Vanquisher's Seal are all nice for stun-locking people, and they are capable of dishing out a fair bit of damage, and of course, you can always power stance ultras and kill people in 3 hits, but you can get the same damage out of a katana anyway. I don't agree with Bone Fists. Okay, Bone Fists are just, they're different. They have different moveset. I mean, this is coming from someone who's probably not the best with Bone's Fists, as I've done a video and I didn't do that well with the video. But dual daggers, I can definitely see being pretty OP, especially with the stone ring. Come on, stone ring. You can put bleed, poison, whatever. That's where it can be effective. Katanas, I think, are pretty good. I love the washing pole. It all depends on your opponent's. Really, I think a lot of it does depend on your opponent's poise, because if they have too high a poise, some of these just won't work. Like daggers probably won't work too well, especially if they're full haveling it up and they're looking to trade with like a cast blade. It's just not going to work. So, you know, it does depend on the weapon, but I can definitely see, you know, one of my favorites, maybe even my favorite, is the obviously Smelter and Age Smelter sword, raining down bombs on people for thousands of damage in one LT hit. Oh, so good. Next up, we have Septic Eye Sam on the YouTubes, and he says, lag. He wants to dual wield lag. He's kidding. It's poison black steel katanas. And of course, that begs the question, why not just manslayers, you know? But whatever, to each their own, right? Uncle Odie says blue flame because you can buff both of them with crystal magic weapon and then power stance for fun spike swords. Bandit knives are pretty fun too. As for the best, I'd say red rust scimitar and red rust sword. That's interesting. I actually really like these ideas. The blue flame, you can buff either one and it's not a big deal. You won't lose the buffs because they both do the buffs themselves. So that is pretty cool. I do like that. I'm not sure exactly how much damage they do, but it just seems like a lot of fun. Like, why not? Why not have spiky swords? As far as the bandit knives are fun because of the bleeding, and that is cool. They're super quick. You can generally get 4 hits off, especially if you stun them. So that's pretty fun, and they're really, like I said, they're really quick. Red Rust Scimitar and Red Rust Sword, I haven't tried it, but they are very powerful weapons, and I can see them definitely being good power stance. And one cool thing about power stance is when you run, you don't do power stance attacks, even if you're still power stance, or backup. You don't do power stance attacks if you hit LB. So the running attack on both those weapons are really good. So I can definitely see how that's viable, damage-wise and just sort of tactical-wise. Next up, we have Lord Relic. Lord Relic says, I'd say by far Fist or Daggers. Fist, you can do the cheap-ass roll punch, and I swear you can't parry. It's just a devastating combo that I have no clue how to counter. Spirzi? I don't effing know. I personally love to see power stance smelt the swords. Get dead! Why? Of course, if you want to check out my video on the dual smelter swords, it's a classic. I think it is. Yeah, fists, more claws, stuff like that. Pretty damn good, especially with stone ring. Pretty sick. Daggers need more help with the stone ring. Fists are a little bit better on that. They have pretty interesting range. And as far as the roll punch, I heard you can parry it. I've never done it. I don't know where the hell the frames are. I've definitely tried it many a times. No idea. But next up we have Mr. Gargamel says longsword and majestic greatsword. Now again, this is for power stance. I don't think you can power stance them. I could be wrong, but I think it would take the moveset of a greatsword. So that one I'm not sure about. We have Miyazaki, who says dual manslayer. Of course, this goes back to why poison black steel katanas. Dual manslayers, obviously you want the poison. I don't know. I think so. If you have 2 weapons, and if you're able to get the 2 hits off, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 hits. Is that a 1 hit? Well, a one combo poison thing. I don't know. That I've never tried that out, so I actually don't know. Like, can you mostly poison people in that combo with the 2 hits? You know, the left and right if you stun them. I don't know. So I can see that possibly being viable depending on that. And those weapons aren't bad anyway. I mean, they have decent counter damage and damage in general. Next up, we have Guilherme Salles. I don't know if that's how you say his name. Definitely from Brazil, though. For me, the large club, easy to power stance and powerful. Number 2, Royal Dirk, rapid sweet damage. Okay, number 3, curve nil sword, effing OPBS power stance. Now, that's something a lot of people might not know. If you, I believe it's the left hand. If you have the curve nil in the left hand and you do the L trigger, and you have, let's say, a smelter sword, which is a lot of fun because it explodes. It does like I think it's the only weapon that does a specialized trigger like that. It's like a weird spinny thing, and then it comes down and it rains bombs. Next up, we have on Extra Life, Hash. For insane damage, dual dark cast blades. Step 1, counterfish. Step 2, Step 3, profit. If one still feels underpowered, add Flynn's, Ring of Blades, and Engraved Gauntlets for those rare instances when those are not enough to add. As for fun, Majestic Greatsword and Ivory Straight Sword. Step 1, Deadeye Flip. Step 3, you'll probably be backstabbed, but who cares? It does look awesome. Okay, it does look awesome. Again, we're going with power stance, but interesting. Dark cast blades. I have faced somebody, even on my higher level build, where I think I got 2-shotted. So I got countered because, like he said, they looked for the counterfish. I got countered, and I think they were wearing the engraved gauntlets, and they got the critical, so I died in 2 hits. That's like 2,600 life. Get dead. Oh, man. So, yeah, I can see how that could be a problem, but I played it wrong. That was stupid. I should have played more, I just shouldn't have played as close, or should have maybe not allowed them to get the whole counter on me, the whole trade, because I knew that's what they were going for. But, it happens. We have on YouTube, Joe Gargalak, the Hay Knight sword in the right hand, and S-Stock in the left is pretty gross. I use dual Zweihanders. He meant to say against the Monastery Scimitar in those days to wreck scrubs, but it's still pretty fun and doesn't block your vision like some other ultra weapons do. Now, one thing is, Hay Knight sword and S-Stock, it is gross, dependent. Of course, if you power stance them, you do lose some of the versatility of the S-Stock, and that's the issue with it. Dual Zweihanders, I love it. Like, it's one of my favorite weapons in the game, even though it's maybe not the most viable. It's just awesome. Damn thing is sick. It's like 20 feet long. It's like a sword, but times 10, like that. It's just so cool. Like, what the hell? Why would somebody make that ridiculous thing? Who could ever actually wield that? And he's using 2 of them. Like, come on. That's just awesome. I don't care if you win or lose. It's just awesome to use that. Next up, we have another awesome person on Extra Life. Drop Top, Zweihanders. Power stance is OP. You gotta love it. I mean, Zweihander. All day, day. What can I say? It's freaking awesome. Next up, we have TSMP. Last I checked, and after numerous patches, the hot new thing is to power stance was dual spears or dual rapiers with a Leo ring. You basically just poke dudes and they die. Well, yeah. If you're looking for fun, try either 2 blue flames, 2 sorcerers twin blades, or 2 pilgrim spontoons. Interesting. With the dual blue flames, you want to make them magic and use them to cast great magic weapon on each other, not crystal magic weapon, because crystal magic weapon or great magic weapon looks prettier. Does it? Okay. Before power stancing, obviously. Dual pilgrim spontoons give you the option to cast dark weapon instead of crystal or great magic weapon, and they're basically dual spears. The sorcerer's twin blade is arguably one of the worst weapons in the game, but it has the warp sword's power stance attack and can pair with other twin blades, meaning you power stance twin blades, finally get the moveset you thought they'd have in the first place instead of acting like a halberd. Also, you can cast buffs on each other. They're also the mace of the insolent if you're into power stance and mace that shoot lightning and dark in all cases. Remember that power stance requirements are only 50% to strength and dexterity, not intelligence and faith. Intelligence and faith can be bare minimum if you want. Interesting. I actually really like this. I think this is really awesome and fun. I mean, he went with the basically buffing motif. The whole idea is he took weapons that are maybe not the best, like Twin Blade, Spontoon, Blue Flame. I actually do really like the Spontoon though. He took weapons that are really not that great, and he said, you know what? I'm just gonna buff each other with this same weapon and make them decent. And I don't think I've ever tried dual Twin Blades, and I am ashamed about that. I really want to try that. He says it has a better moveset, and I'm really interested to see what the moveset is because I never really tried it. So I like that. I think I might actually do that because that's awesome. And I mean, again, with the intelligence faith, my guys usually don't have any of that. So I don't know about how the buffing's going to work, but just try it out. It's fun. Like, why not? It's a freaking awesome game. And as far as the first thing he said, dual spears can be a pain in the ass. Of course, you know, you can still parry them. Same with the rapiers, but rapiers are a little bit more difficult only because they are quicker. But man, I could definitely see how somebody has a problem with them. Spears, if your guy, you know, you have fists or something, it's going to be a tough fight because you got to get close. And rapiers, they're just so quick and can be ridiculously powerful with the old Leo ring. I can definitely see why that is just annoying at times, depending on your playstyle and what weapon you have. But, you know, I just think there's a lot of times, a lot of these weapons are better two-handed or even one-handed with a shield. But maybe not in this case. Again, it might all depend on how you play and what your character is. Who knows? Next up, we have the soup. The soup is here on YouTube. Smelter hammers will always be my favorite power stance by far. If you want to know why, you just need to spec yourself for 99 strength and try them. They will change your life. As far as effectiveness, one of the best combos is a warp sword with an offhand washing pole. You can stun lock people with the R1 and L1 and then R1. It's really cheap. Another crazy combo is the Drake Keeper's Great Axe with an offhand smelter sword. The Great Axe R1 combos with the L2 power attack. I've hit close to 2,000 in one combo on high level players. That is awesome. Now, I didn't know that. And I've recently actually just learned about something that you're able to, I got to try it out, but you're able to two hand and then one hand. Or, yeah, two hand and then one hand, a left and right weapon depending on how you do it. It's interesting. Hopefully I can figure it out, but of course this game is coming to close, so it sucks people figured this out much later than was for me to learn how to utilize it. But yeah, I mean, these combos look pretty awesome. The Great Axe and Smelter Sword, I mean, how awesome is that? Yeah, that's one I definitely want to try. Wonder if it would work better with the Age Smelter. I don't know. I think Smelter Sword actually is slightly more powerful, has slightly more elemental damage. I could be wrong. And as far as changing your life, with the what is it? The dual smelter hammers. I mean, come on. That's a ridiculous. You have to be high level. I want to see a lower level. I want to see a level 1 build. Try that. Come on, Lord Relic. Let's do it. Next up, we have Lich 180 on Extra Life. Great swords, giant clubs, and big and heavy weapons. Who cares about combat efficiency? I want sheer awesome intimidation, especially going in naked. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree. Like I said, Age Smelter. If you have two gigantic dumbass hammers, let's say you have two Drake Keeper hammers. Someone's like, what the hell are you doing, man? This is dumb. And you know what? It is dumb, but it's awesome. Trying to rain those hammers down like they're a nail. Put that nail in the coffin, you know what I'm saying? One of those hits, boom, get dead. Actually, you know what? And that was the last one. I didn't even realize that was the last one. Yeah, I mean, I think he does kind of summon it up. Yeah, he does, because it's fun, right? It's freaking fun, the power stance stuff. I think so. I mean, I've tried to do some really dumb power stance things, And by far, at least what I think, the worst power stance weapons are hammers. Hammers are the worst. I think axes are probably the second worst. No, actually halberds. Actually, halberds and hammers might be tied. They're so bad, man. They are like the worst. I'm talking about just power stance attacks. Oh god, they are the worst. But I mean, as far as viability, I think you got to like mix and match. Smelter swords are great, but how viable are they really, right? I mean, once you've seen the one attack, you've seen it forever, right? You're not going to get hit by it just with ease like an idiot all the time and take that like 1500 damage or whatever. Like, so, that's why you have to sort of pick and choose a little bit. And I think it really boils down to maybe your playstyle and maybe who you're going against. I know a lot of times the waiting to trade against somebody with dual gas blades is better versus some people like me, for instance. I'm a little bit more aggressive, so trading against me is definitely more of an option because I'm always going to be trying to hit you. So then the chances of you hitting me while I hit you are probably much higher. But if you're going against somebody like Lord Relic, who is pretty amazing at dodging attacks, that whole trading motif will not work. And that's where maybe, something like keeping your distance with, some dual spears might come in handy. But, it all depends. And I do think there's a lot more viable, weird combos out there. Like I said, if you have in the right hand the broken straight sword and left hand any other basically smaller weapon, you basically do almost no stamina. It's awesome. It is the best. You just attack forever. It's so cool and no one expects it. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just have fun with the game. I mean, game's just about done. Dark Souls 3 right on its way, but let's just enjoy these last few moments until this game is put in the grave. And power stance to your heart's content before it's over. So like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Put it in the comments below, and I will be back.